how Vladimir Kramnik became the world chess champion in 2000 by beating legendary chess genius of all time Garry Kasparov. In today's video, we are going to see the 10th game of World Chess Championship 2000 where Kramnik pulled off his second win in his great playing style. So without wasting time, let's get into the video. So Kramnik was white and Garry Kasparov was black. Kramnik played d4. Kasparov played knight f6, c4. Since this is an old game which was played in 2000, we won't see openings in deep depth. We will see only the middle game and in game and how it is played. We'll analyze only middle games and end games. Okay, so let's see. e6, knight c3, bishop b4. Kramnik played e3, castles, bishop d3, Indian defense, d5. On those days, these kind of openings were played often by the elite players. d5, knight f3, c5. Okay, looks decent. Castle, c takes d4, e takes d4. In these kind of situations these days, many play knight takes d4. But anyway, many aggressive players suggest e takes d4, so it's okay. E takes d4, d takes c4, bishop takes c4, b6. There is both disadvantages and advantages for that d4 pawn, so we shouldn't underestimate whether black is better or something. This is just an equal position. Bishop g5, bishop b7. Till now it is going like slightly better for white, really slightly better. Going on with the solid positions. Rook e1, knight bd7, rook c1, rook c8, queen b3, and this is where the real middle game starts in this game. Here Garry Kasparov played bishop to e7, which was not the correct move. It was a dubious move. He should have exchanged his bishop take by taking bishop takes c3. I mean, this was better. If b takes c3, then something like bishop takes f3 and queen c7 could have played. I don't know, I'm not sure, but bishop takes c3 was a better choice than bishop e7, keeping the bishop really passive down the e7. So after bishop e7, Kramnik took bishop takes f6, and now you will see the point why bishop e7 was a dubious move. Okay, so Kasparov took knight takes f6. Now if you leave it simply, then Garry Kasparov will occupy his knight to d5. If you play something like I'm just saying as an example, if you play something like knight e5, then knight d5, after knight d5 the position is really simplified, equalized, and maybe black can draw soon. But coming back, there is a really interesting move, awesome move for white. Completely now white starts to demolish black's position, so I want the viewers to pause the video and try to find a better move for white. Okay, I think you would have thought of a move. Congratulations if you found bishop takes e6. Like commonly if we see with the naked eye, if f takes e6, then queen takes e6. Now there is a check as well as attack in the e7 bishop. So if he plays rook f7, then after knight g5 he is gone, his position is gone. So black must play king h8, and after queen takes e7 white is 2 pawns up and can easily win. That's what we would see by the naked eye, but this is what the game is. Kasparov plays till king h8. and the game continues on, I will tell you. But before, for bishop takes e6, the better move for black, I think now I want viewers again to pause the video and try to find a better move for black. Please think at least for 1 or 2 minutes is enough for this move. Yes, of course, f takes c6 is eliminated. So black must play rook c7. Now the idea is to take f takes e6. As after queen takes e6, um, black can simply play king h8, and there is no attack on the e7 bishop. So for that, white must retreat his bishop. He should save his bishop. So white has two options here. His second option is bishop c4 retreating, but after bishop takes f3, g takes f3, bishop d6, the position is unclear, as this f3 f2 pawn structure is really weak, as well as this d4 pawn is weak, but compensating it, white is a pawn up, so this position is unclear. And the first choice move here is knight g5, and for that, if black plays queen takes d4, then even this position is unclear. Not queen takes d4. And for knight g5, black plays bishop d6. Sorry, for queen takes d4. Queen takes d4 is in the move. Now, knight g5's threat was to take knight takes f7. Now he can't take, as white doesn't want to give his two minor pieces for a rook. So white will play knight b5, keeping awesome threats for black. Now after rook e7, defending everything, even though white is pawn up, he should retreat bishop c4. This position is unclear. Again, it is unclear, since the d4 pawn is slightly a bit weak, and maybe this is slightly better for white, but black has great activity, as these b7 bishop, d6 bishop, all of these black pieces are also doing decent. Okay, so coming back to the game, f takes c6 was played by Garry Kasparov, which was a mistake, serious mistake, which later caused him to lose the game. Not immediately, but sooner. Rook c7 was the best try for him, but he missed it. Okay, so after queen takes e6, forced is king h8. As I said, rook f7 doesn't work after knight g5. King h8, queen takes e7. This is what the game goes. Kramnik plays queen takes e7. And here bishop takes f3 is the better try. He played it. Kasparov played it. G takes f3. And even here, the position is slightly better for white. Since the bishop is exchanged, we can't say it is unclear. This is better for white. Slightly better for white. We can't say this unclear. That's what I want to clarify. Okay. So after g takes f3, black takes queen takes d4. And now white has a stunning move, knight to b5. Bringing his knight to the game by knight d6 in the next move, and followed by some serious threats in black's camp. Here, black shouldn't have played. I want the viewers to pause the video and find better move for black. Think of around 3 to 4 minutes and try for a better move for black. Okay, so what Kasparov played was queen takes b2. If you have thought queen takes b2, then that's a blunder. I'll tell you why. Actually, the correct move is queen d2. Queen should be on the d5, which we could realize after, later in the variation of queen takes b2. Queen d2 was the better move, as after rook takes c8, knight d6, rook b8, the position is still fightable for black. Still, white is slightly better and trying for better activity sooner. Okay, I'll tell you the flaw between queen takes b2 and queen d2. After queen takes b2, this was a serious error which costed Kasparov for his second defeat against Vladimir Kramnik. Rook takes c8, knight d6, rook b8, and now here comes a stunning move which Kramnik didn't play actually. So I want viewers to again pause the video and think for 30 seconds to 1 minute for this move. Congrats if you had found knight e8. Brilliant move. If knight takes e8, then queen f8 is a direct checkmate. If rook takes e8, then after queen takes e8, knight takes e8, rook takes e8, it's a checkmate. And you have serious threats on g7. So this, queen f8 is a threat, and more and more stunning threats are there in this position. So black is in serious trouble. So coming back, unfortunately, Kramnik didn't play knight e8, but he played the second best option for winning the game easily. Knight f7 was played. Knight f7 check, king g8, queen e6. And now white's threat is if you play something like queen c3, for example, knight h6 check, king h8, queen g8 check, knight g8, knight f7 is a smothered beautiful checkmate, as you all know. So for defending that, here there was a move called h5. Simply he should have sorry. Better move was actually h5, but even though after knight g5 check, king h8, queen f5, and really serious threats are coming in future, so black isn't safe at all. He must defend like Sergei Karyakin or someone like Tigran Petrosyan to save the game. But black was aggressive, Garry Kasparov. So I'm not saying he can't defend, but he couldn't find best defenses here. Kasparov didn't play h5 and he played rook f8, a direct blunder to lose the game directly. As this and here, Kramnik played knight d8 check, king h8. Here knight h6 check, king h8, queen g8 doesn't work because of knight takes g8. There is no smothered mate here. So that's why Kasparov had played rook f8, but he didn't see knight d8 check, king h8, queen e7. And here queen e7 is the idea of attacking black's rook. If he goes rook g8, then knight f7 is a checkmate. And if he goes rook e8, then queen takes e8, knight takes e8, rook takes e8 is a checkmate. But here there isn't any move. Kasparov resigned here. Kasparov could have played the game further by rook takes d8, queen takes d8. Really sorry. Queen takes d8, knight g8. If rook e8 won't be played by Kramnik, as after queen takes e8, rook e8 is a mistake. Analyzing mistake. Kramnik must play something like f4, as after queen b3, he should play rook e8, and this should have been the ideal position if Kasparov had played further. But Kasparov directly resigned in frustration and went off. So it was a great win by Kramnik to further drawing another 5 games in the World Chess Championship 2000 and becoming the undisputed world champion for the next 7 years. From 2000 to 2007, Kramnik was the undisputed world champion unless Vishwanathan Anand took his title. But before 2000, since 1985 to 2000, Kasparov was on his great, strong, legendary peak. Defeating Kasparov in such a peak level was impossible, and the Russian legends, both are Russian legends today. But Kramnik was a young Russian 25-year-old youth who played extremely awesome chess and defeated the Russian legend Garry Kasparov, and fetched the title, World Championship title, in 2000, and lasted for 7 years later. Okay, so that's it for the video. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel for more exciting contents related to chess. And please don't forget to hit the bell icon so that you get instant notifications from my YouTube chess videos. Thanks for watching.